Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in my Take a Note Currently journal. This is a planner, but I have been using it as my Currently journal and really enjoying it. I am a little bit behind, and honestly I hate saying that I'm behind because as a crafter there's no such thing. You just work in your journals as you go. And if I'm a few months behind, it's not a big deal. So anyways, I'm going to be working on my July currentlies. And the first thing I do is cover up that number in the corner. Because I'm not using this as a planner, I tend to cover up all the numbers and make it work for myself. I have this really old booklet. It's like a little calendar, and I've been using it to cover up those numbers. It works perfectly. I just trim off the bottom portion where it has the day and year and stuff like that. And I just love how it fits perfectly over those numbers. I will also be using this old Kelly Perky stamp to stamp out July. And then I'm going to grab my own currently stamps to stamp out currently. I've created 2 currently stamp sets literally just for this journal. It's the perfect currently stamps to document all your currentlies. I usually focus on movies, shows, books, what I'm listening to, what I'm pinning for this journal, but those 2 stamps have basically cover almost all the currentlies. Anyways, I'm also going to be adding my photos. I've mentioned this before, but I like to mention this for my new viewers that I print my photos on matte vinyl sticker paper. I've been doing this for years. I love the outcome. It doesn't add a lot of bulk to my journals, especially a journal like this where the paper is very thin. I also like to add my photos at the top to cover the dates. Because I'm not using this as a planner, I do not need those dates, and I wanted to make it my own, so I go ahead and cover up all the numbers, all the days and dates, and that way I can put my own numbers if I wanted to. Now that I have my photos stuck down, I can add my numbers. I use my Planet stamp set for this. I will be restocking the stamp set very soon, hopefully by next week, so definitely keep an eye out for that. You can click on the notify me button on my website to be notified when they are back in stock. But anyways, I'm just going to use that stamp set to stamp out the numbers. I also have the abbreviation for number on that stamp set, and I'm going to use that to stamp right above each number just to add a little something there. Let's go ahead and start putting my spreads together. I'm going to start with my first photo where I'm documenting what I'm listening to right now. I am in love and obsessed with this Arabic artist. I love his music, and he had to go into my currently journal. So I'm going to use my PET tape. I do have this in my shop as well. I love the headphones, so I added it to add a pop of color to my spread. I will also add a little bit of stamping next to it. I end up stamping current fave music, I think. And on the bottom, I want to bring in some colors. So my go-to for that is to stamp an icon and color it in later. So I used this older Cocoa Daisy stamp. It had a little cassette, and I love how it fits within my columns, so I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. Now, I'm not going to lie, I totally forgot to stamp out my currently listening using my own currently stamp sets. I usually stamp that right underneath my photos. I like the cohesiveness of it. I totally forgot, so I'm going to change it up for this column and end up stamping it right above the cassette tape. It's okay if I forgot. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world, basically. But while I have my stamps out and my ink pad, I'm going to go ahead and stamp for the rest of the photos. So I stamp currently watching for the next column, and then currently reading for that last photo. So once I stamp those out, I'm going to go into my stamp sets and I'm going to grab my Couch Potato Club stamp. I love this stamp set. It's perfect for my currently journal. And I'm going to stamp certified binge watcher because I watched this Arabic show and it was amazing. I binged watched that show like literally in 2 days. It wasn't a long one, maybe I think 8 episodes or something like that, but it hit hard and I had to complete it and watch it. I just couldn't wait. And I recommend the show to everybody, not just my Arab friends. If you're interested, let me know. I will send you all the information. You have to watch this show. Anyways, I also stamped the little popcorn ratings for that column, and I'm stamping right now for my reading. For my book club, we read the names for that month, and so I used my book review stamp set to stamp all the little information. That stamp set has like title, author, started, finished, and I love using it for this journal. I'm also going to use the Book Lover PET tape. I created this PET tape just for this journal. They fit really nicely between the columns, and you can pick out whichever stack of books and basically just add it to your column, and it adds a nice pop of color. But anyways, right now, all I'm gonna do is color in my icons. I'll also grab my Reading with Hiba sticker sheet and add one next to my photo. By the way, for book club, we read the names. It was amazing. And the discussion for that month was great. So I'm just going to complete that column with the sticker, and then we can move on to my next page. So I'm going back to my currently stamp sets. I'm going to stamp out all the currentlies right underneath my photos so I don't forget. And basically I have the stamp and ink pad out, so might as well. And so I'm gonna go ahead and stamp watching for 3 of these columns because I currently was watching 3 different shows. Then I'm gonna add listening to my 6th column just because I was listening to one of my favorite bands. By the way, I think I said currently like a bazillion times throughout this video. I apologize. Anyways, once I stamp out everything, I'm going to go ahead and work column by column. So for my first one, I watched this movie. It's called Echo Valley. I think it was on Apple TV, and it was so good. I took away a star because at some point I was kind of bored, but it picked up and I really enjoyed it. So I'm just going to use my Couch Potato Club to stamp out its movie night. And then for the next column, I watched one of my favorite shows, Bad Sisters. This is season 2. I've been wanting to watch season 2 forever and kept putting it off. And finally, I got to watch it using that same stamp set to stamp out the TV set and the remote control, and I'll color it in later. Anyways, moving on to my next column where I'm documenting my favorite band, Fleetwood Mac. You guys, I always come back to Fleetwood Mac. It doesn't matter what's happening in my life, what's going on. I always end up listening to it either while I'm working, maybe in my car. They're just my go-to. I love them so much. Anyways, I used an old stamp set to stamp some headphones. I also stamped Rock On. And then I'm moving on to my last column where I watched Your Friends and Neighbors, I think. That was recommended by my sister, and I really enjoyed that show, and it had John Hamm, so of course I had to watch it. I used my Cat Collage Club PET tape, and I added the cat watching TV. I added a few little icons around it, and basically just prettying up my columns by adding some stickers here and there. I'll also grab my markers and color in my icons, and then I'm going to grab my book review stamp set again to stamp the star ratings. I'd like to use the star ratings on this stamp set because I created the 5 stars, and then I created the fillers where you just stamp it once. So if you want to give it 5 stars, the 5 stars are all connected. Or if you want to give it 3 stars, you have the 3 stars all connected. So you just stamp it once. At this point, everything is complete. All I have to do is journal. So I'm just going to add a little bit of me journaling in my currently journal, and basically call my layouts done. So excited to be caught up and have July done in my currently journal. I will be picking up another take a note journal. I don't know what I'm going to be using it for yet, just because I know I'm going to be doing my 2026 currently in the same journal. I have so many pages in the back and I don't want to waste them. I will be doing 2026 in the same journal, but I will grab another take a note and let's see what I come up with. Hopefully, I'll be sharing that with you very soon. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching my process. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.